What is up, Scrubs? I'm back with another deck profile. You already know what it is. You already know. This is Red Majin Vegeta. This deck, from what you can see from the cards in front of you, is looking to do one thing and one thing only, and that's to get in that booty, though. So that's what this deck does. This deck tries to get in the booty. Before I get into the deck itself, shout out to my sponsor, Bearded Collectibles. Shirts are being test printed just to make sure the quality is straight. Once they are done being test printed, we will get them sampled, and then the shirts will be posted. 3XG Scrub Fam shirts version 1 will be posted on Bearded Collectibles in the apparel section. So be sure to check out Bearded Collectibles. Also, in general, if you're looking to pre-order your draft boxes, if you haven't already done so, if you're looking to pre-order the next set, he's got great prices. Alec has great prices on everything that's currently listed on his site. Especially if you're looking to pre-order set 3 stuff, he's definitely who I'm going to be going through. I know a lot of people are going through him as well. He's really reliable. So please go to Bearded Collectibles, get yourself some product. So anyway, plugs. We did that. Also, YouTube channels on the rise. The Hill Twins. They posted today. Basically, subscribe on their channel. They'll subscribe on yours, whatnot. So please, if you're a YouTube content creator, be sure to do that. Get yourself some additional subscriptions, of course, because that thread's great, because multiple people off that thread were able to subscribe to my channel as well, which is always wonderful when trying to share content across the community. But in general, the Hill Twins were a pleasure to meet in person. It was awesome to be able to talk about the game. I played against Eon in the 1K event on day 2. And we played the mirror match, and that was terrible because he was on the play, and he was playing the secret tech of Ready to Strike Piccolo, and of course I called him out for it. So I was just like, that's my tech, and he was just like, I know that's your tech, and it was pretty sweet. But Eon, he's good people. So's Eric. Sad Eric for not going further, but props to Eric for top 8ing. So shout out to the Hill Twins. Be sure to check out, again, all the YouTube content, because there's tons of content creators coming up every single day. So please don't just latch onto my channel or Kitchen Table Meta or Danny Hype. Get out there, explore some other channels. It's a whole new world, as Aladdin would say. Whole new world. There's lots of innuendos in that song. You should go listen to it. Alright, anyway, sorry, I rambled enough. We're going to get into my first draft box leader deck profile. And as you guys saw from my Facebook post, I'm really hyped about Vegeta. I'm just going to call him Majin Vegeta because that's what he is. Because he brings a lot to this archetype that didn't exist before. And so when you read Vegeta, basically, place one. It's activate main. Place one card from your hand in the drop area. You gain plus 5k and crit for the duration of the turn. So this is extremely powerful. A lot of people are saying, well, this isn't as good as the blue Vegeta, but it's not that it's not as good. This is just different, and it's different in a good way because yes, Vegeta from blue is always strong, but your opponent can easily just like pitch a 5k and survive the attack. Now, if they want to stop themselves from taking crit, you're going to boost yourself to a 15, so they have to pitch 1 to 2 cards. Of course, if they want to pitch a 10k card or if they want to pitch 2 5ks, they're going to have to do that in order to not take the damage. So this is extremely relevant, and this ability is incredibly strong, especially when we start going through the rest of the deck, and you're going to have one card which, of course, had some notoriety before. That card is back, and I'll get to it. All right, we're going to awaken here. So after we awaken, Vile Strike Dark for Vegeta. Again, activate main once per turn. Place one card from the hand in the drop area. This card gains plus 5k for the duration of the turn and critical. Again, extremely powerful ability. And then, of course, when he attacks, draw a card. So this is great because you're essentially going to be getting rid of the -1 that you're doing to yourself on that turn. And, of course, when comboed with another card in the deck, you're going to see a lot of powerful things to take place. So now you're talking about your leader being a 20k body with crit whenever he swings. And all you have to do is pitch a card for the turn. And, in fact, you're not actually pitching a card because you're still going to be drawing a card. And what was great about the Red Goku leader was he was able to pitch a card, keep hand size low in order to play defense and sometimes offense, whereas this Vegeta allows you to keep your hand size relatively low and play offense with it. And so this leader is extremely important to the mono red or red and splash archetypes. And so now I'll go through the actual deck list in the way that I think about the deck and myself, and I did it all, as you can see, laid out. I do 1, 2, 3s, and 4s. As the drop count, so we'll just go through those. So I run 8 1-drops, I run 4 Furthering Destruction Champa, and 4 Saiyan Kaba. Yes, I consider Furthering Destruction Champa a 1-drop because it's only a, I'm only going to be paying 1 energy for it throughout the course of the game, and it's always a 1-drop spell. And so whether if it's early game, mid game, late game, this card is like gold to you. When you get one of these and you're able to trigger your ability on the front side and then swing, your opponent has to negate the attack, or you're going to be swinging in with a further instruction Champa, and you get real big. Real big. On the front, you go from just being a 10 plus 10, 20, you go to a 25k on the front after you activate crit, so your 25k double strike crit body, and then on the backside, you're now a 30k double strike crit body. And when you're swinging in, whether if it's for mid game, whether if it's late game, trying to go for game in general, you're going to be denying your opponent's cards. And that's another thing that aggro in just set 2 alone, Red didn't have. Because if you played the Red Goku deck, which I had on the YouTube channel, the deck was really cool, and the deck had, was able to steal some wins against certain decks. But the problem is, you were given way too much card advantage to some decks, and that's how you ended up losing the game. Whereas this Vegeta leader is going to be denying that card advantage from the opponent. So it keeps you and your opponent's hands relatively even and allows you to just keep the pressure on without getting punished for it. And so that's why Further Instruction Champa plus this leader is insane. He gets real big on the front and on the back. This card's always relevant. And another great thing about this leader compared to Blue Vegeta, when you awaken, you're not spending life anymore to activate crit. And that is the biggest boon to this deck, is the fact that I can activate the crit every single turn. I can keep my hand size low every single turn, so I'm always threatening one of my 2-drop plays. So this card is incredibly important to the deck strategy. Again, it's one of the 1-drops. Of course, we have Forcing Kaba, one of the best 1-drop threats in the game across the course of the game. Actually, he's probably the only 1-drop threat aside from, Boo when he decides to be a real man and attacks. But the best 1-drop attacker in the game. He can come down from turn 1 to the last turn and present a threat on the board as long as you have life available to you to spend. And so he's going to be a part of our Awakening plan. Of course, he is the only part of the Awakening plan. That's one concern about this deck, is getting stuck on cards. But luckily, you're going to have a draw engine between this and some other cards in the deck. They're going to help keep your hand stockpiled. And of course, if your hand's low, it's not necessarily bad. You're going to be able to put pressure on your opponent in through different ways, and you'll have some threats that help you bridge like you need to. So Saiyan Kaba, of course, is in the deck because, number 1, he's going to equal early pressure. Number 2, he is going to be able to help you awaken. And number 3, he's relevant across the course of the game, especially because of the way this deck runs when it comes to its energy. So now we'll go to the 2s. We have 4 10k perfect cards. So simple, 10k boost, draw card, no big deal. Next we have arguably one of the most impactful cards from set 2, Mighty Mask. I can't get over just the utility of this guy. Whether if it's just filling your hand, whether if it's fixing your energy, he's exactly what a lot of decks needed to make them work and to make them run smoothly. And that's why I love Mighty Mask in this deck. Especially you'll see that when I get to my Goten and Trunks package, but you guys can already see it because you're on the internet and you're watching this video and the deck's already laid out in front of you. I digress. But Mighty Mask is great for this deck because, again, like I said before, sometimes your opponent is trying not to awaken you. You can start using Mighty Mask as a draw engine because he trades himself for 2 cards a large majority of the time. And so you basically end up popping your Mighty Mask, refilling your hand, and going from there. And that plays another part to the way the deck runs. And again, I'll explain that after I get through the list, like the way I think about the deck. And it ends up being a huge boon for you throughout the game. And what was really cool was at ARG Connecticut, there was a lot of people that came up to me and were like, dude, your Mighty Mask tech was amazing. Like, I just didn't think about that way. Like, even one of the top 16, the Android list, their sideboard package, they were running blue. And they did that because they ran Mighty Mask, and so they knew that they could just put in, Sun Goten, Sun Trunks blue, and then they could fetch them in game 2 and 3 to have access to all their blue spells. So that was really cool too, getting that shout out from people in the community. So that was awesome. Next, we have the strongest 2-drop there is, a 25k double strike. When he KOs something, your opponent takes 2 damage. This card is just insane. This card is almost always live in this deck, and so this deck, again, it plays into the deck strategy, which I'll get into. Again, I keep saying that. But this plays into the deck strategy as we get to the mid and later parts of the game, because it's a threat that's always going to be live to you, so you can play 1 to 2 to 3 threats per turn, depending on what your hand is, and then you'll go from there. And this is also technically one of our finishers in the deck, but really the finisher is this guy because he gets real big. And people don't negate your leader attacks. You'll learn that in testing. So he's really important. Early pressure, mid-game pressure, late pressure. That's something that aggro always misses, is they usually can provide early pressure, but this Gohan kind of fills those gaps. And I'm so stoked about this deck, and I'm so stoked about this leader because this is exactly what red aggressive decks needed to get to that next level going into ARG Orlando. This is fresh. You might want to test it out before the event. All right, 3 drops. Ability Unleash Ultimate Gohan. This is basically another copy of Kaba. Allows you to draw engine, provides early pressure. It's a great 3-drop. We love 3-drops in this deck because a lot of times you're going to be what helps put pressure on us. Of course, this also plays into one of the other cards in the deck, which I'll get into. It's, of course, it's Vegeta here to save the day and provides more hits for that. But again, this card is just great because your opponent has to negate. You choose to draw, they pop the effect, whatever. You have double strike, same thing. So this card can swing for game. It can help you stabilize if the game starts to go a little bit longer than you wanted to, or just in general, it's just one of your early threats, one of your mid-game threats, one of your closers. So again, you see the general theme here. All of our attackers are great early, mid, and late. And again, it helps us stay under that really small curve we want, and that plays into, again, with a strategy that I'll talk about at the end. This guy, Super Saiyan 3 Son Goku, his stock is up. His stock is up, and it's solely, it's not Vegito, because Vegito, let's get him out of here. You don't belong here anymore, Vegito. Your Bobbity deck is not as good as other Bobbity decks. Get out of here. Now we have this guy, and he loves Super Saiyan 3 Son Goku. Loves it. Of course, this is great because Vegeta gets really mad when he finds out that Goku can turn Super Saiyan 3, and he just always wants his power. But now he gets to hang out with his bro all the time, and his bro always helps him out on your front side and on your back side. Now, when you activate that crit, you'll activate it, you'll get the 5k boost, then you drop your 3-drop Goku. Now you get another 5k. Now you, on the front side, you're a 20k body. On the back side, you're on the back side, you are now a 25k body. Huge. You're 25k with crit on the front, on the back, and then 20k crit on the front. And that's every single time you swing. And that plays into the aggressiveness of this deck because you can play this 3-drop Goku every single turn. You're going to burn your opponent out of negates because of how much you're going to be threatening. And as our energy count gets higher, your opponent has to worry about you also playing this and a Furthering Destruction Choppa for the turn. So now you'll get real big, swing for a double strike, and they're going to have to spend a lot of resources to overcome that. And that's one thing that this deck has going for it, is that in game one, which of course, this is what we're focused on right now. We're focused on, all right, we're playing game one. We're sitting down against our opponent. We want to get that game over quick, and we want our opponent to be afraid of what we're going to play past turn 4 and 5. We want them to be afraid of that. And when you play that way, then this plays into a lot of the way that you are as a player. You always we'll have to express this when we start going to game 3 and like having a poker face or a certain demeanor, but you always have to be giving the impression that something better is coming the next turn. Something better. The next card you draw has got to be the best card you could ever draw in your deck, and you have to give the appearance of that. And when you do that in game 1 combined with this deck, and you just start being relentless every single turn with 3-drop Goku and your leader, your opponents, they're not going to know what to do. What do I wait? Do I wait to use my negate for something bigger, or do I start spending it on his leader? And then that's when you get to the point where you're going to start being able to close out the game because they don't know anymore. Or either by that point they've ran out of gates. Now you're being really efficient with your threats because now you're playing this and this, and then that's how you're going to end up winning the game. You're just going to steamroll your opponent into advantage because the pressure is going to be too hard. They're not going to have enough energy to respond to you, and you're going to close out the game really fast by not getting them cards because of Vegeta's crit ability plus this pressure that you're going to put on every turn. All right, next we have our leap package and just our Gotens and our Trunks. So that means we're going to be playing 2 red Goten, 2 red Trunks, 1 blue Goten, 1 blue Trunks. I really like to do this. I really like to do 4 Mighty Mask and then 3/3 of the type I'm playing, unless I'm playing green, because then I'll be playing 4 Trunks Protector of Children, but because a green leader and whatnot. But I really like this. Man, it's just such great tech because like the last thing you want to do is charge a bean or charge a coercion, and the way the deck plays out, a lot of times you're going to find that Mighty Mask because you're playing 4 copies of it, and you're going to be able to pop that Mighty Mask to be able to get your blue source. So you're not having to charge one of your defensive cards, which is really important to you because these blue cards that we play in the deck are just for defense because otherwise we're really thin on D. Like, we're really thin on D. I mean, there's part of me that even wants to forgo the coercions and play something like Ultimate Judgment Jocko, but right now I'm playing the coercions because they're safe. Like, no matter what they do, the thing that they do. And so Mighty Mask plus this package is always really successful for me. That's why I play it in this deck. And it keeps me, I only have to play 10 blue cards, and 2 of them are searchable. And I have the tutor in the deck, so we're good. Next, we top off the curve at 4. Again, this plays into our strategy. So you have 4 Jiren Fist of Justice. Great removal, great threat, puts a ton of pressure on the opponent. Love this card. This card is really the backbone of a lot of red decks these days, but just doesn't get enough love. If you ever get 2 of these on the board, it's just absolutely disgusting because you're going to eat your opponent's board away and then produce, pressure every single turn. So Jiren, love him in this deck. Relentless Super Saiyan 3 Son Goku, one of the most underrated rares in the game. He's a monster against Cell. Cell can't deal with him. Cell can't touch him. Only way he can touch him is if this guy turns sideways and your opponent has to combo over it, so they're spending cards, and then all you have to do is just spend a card or 2 to protect him, keep him alive. That's huge. Of course, he has a permanent can't be KO'd by skills, as we just went over, and then auto, when you play this card, until the beginning of your next turn, it gains 5k power. So when it comes down, it's a 25k body until the beginning of your next turn. So even through your opponent's turn, it's still a 25k. And so again, this plays into strategy. Get one of these on board. Next turn, play Super Saiyan 3 Son Goku. Now this is a 25k for the turn. Now you have your leaders bigger for the turn. And now you're starting to put even more pressure on the opponent. You're starting to swing for game. This is how you win. You steamroll the opponent with the advantage. They don't have time to catch up. Lastly, for 4-drops, we have Vegeta here to save the day. I love this card. There's a lot of reasons why. It can get really big, so it can get up to a 30k. I only play 2 copies because, again, it has the condition of being able to play it from any area. And then it says when this card attacks, if you have 4 or less cards, draw 2 and it gains 10,000 power. So, again, this will help you refill your hand if your hand's ever getting low, and then just plays into that strategy of keeping a relatively small hand size, but presenting big threats. And so this is one of those big threats. And that auto goes off as long as you have 4 or less cards, and which you can manage in this deck relatively easily. Another thing is that it's a 0 plus 5k combo, and there's a good amount of those in this deck, and this helps support you whenever you're playing defense or playing offense by being able to play this no matter what you have. So this is the battle cards. Done. We play 1 through 4 drops. Defensive cards, we play 4 beans, 4 coercions. They're the best blue spells, that's why we play them. So now the deck itself, let me go over some things to think about when you're playing this deck. This deck only needs to run off of 5 energy. That's it. That's the importance of going 1 through 4 drops. We only want to run off of 5 energy. Sometimes you can go to 6, but that's only if you know for a fact you're going to be able to play 2 threats in a single turn. So that means you're going to be able to play 3-drop Gohan and 2-drop Gohan. I mean 6-drop Gohan, but he's a 2-drop. You know what I'm saying. Or the Goku plus the Gohan. Like, that's the only time. And you want to be able to have blue backup to protect yourself and, or beans so you can swing for game with all those threats on the board. That's the only time you're going to go to 6. Otherwise, if your opponent's trying to stall you, you're just going to be charged at 5 energy the entire game, and you're going to be able to save cards that way. So you're not going to be spending cards every single turn in order to charge your energy. You're just going to be, okay, I'll draw my card for the turn, no charge, we'll go ahead with the turn, whether it's deploying a threat or not. And when you're running Super Saiyan 3 Son Goku, the promo, this is really important because now, even if you're stuck on the front side, you can put him down, pitch a card, and now your leader's 20k with crit, and he's swinging. And your opponent's going to have to defend himself. And if he can't, he's not going to be gaining a card. So this helps you while you're on the front side and, of course, while you're on the back side. So this deck really just all revolves all around the leader. The leader is the most important card in the deck because he's the biggest threat in the deck. And that's another thing. So I only play 1 through 4 drops because Vegeta is my turn 5, my turn 6, my turn 7, my turn 8, and beyond play because you can make him just such a large threat that it's arguably one of the best threats in the game when attacking. The fact that you can make him a, 15, 20, 25, 35k double strike crit on his awakened side is insane. So this is the deck. I highly suggest you take the time and experiment with a shell like this or something similar. The first question I know I'm going to get asked is promos. Matt, this deck runs a lot of promos. I'm sorry that this deck runs a lot of promos, but this card is way too good with this leader. I'm telling you now, if you want to play this leader, you're going to have to get this card. Sorry, Scrub fam. I didn't mean to make it so real like that. But I did, because you need to know. Someone has to tell you, and that's the case. But anyway, this is Majin Vegeta. He's one of my favorite characters in the show, in the game, and I'm super happy he's a leader in this set, and I'm incredibly happy that he fits the mold that we needed him to for aggro to be a viable strategy going into this upcoming weekend. If you're getting ready for Orlando, please take some time, test this deck out. I know Cell's on everyone's radar, and I'm not saying that this is a perfect matchup, but I am saying that you should take some time, put some energy into it. You should test a deck like this before you go into Orlando this weekend. And who knows, maybe there might be some prizes at Orlando, some surprises at Orlando. Not gonna lead to anything, but anyway, thank you guys so much for subscribing. I truly appreciate it. We're on the chase for 1,000. We're already getting close to 550. We're going on 600 this week. Again, I have a couple of weeks left in the year. I'd really love to hit 1,000 subscribers at the end of the year. If we do, I'll be doing tons of giveaways to you guys just to thank you so much. I'll probably end up doing like some sort of like celebratory stream where I just do giveaways or whatnot. But anyway, I just thank you guys so much for all the the wonderful feedback you've been giving to me, and just how you guys have stuck with me throughout this process. And of course, we're growing together. We're getting better at this game together, and that's what community is all about. But anyway, this has been a long deck tech. I apologize. I just want to spend some time with you guys because I haven't had a chance to talk to you guys like face to face since like Monday. That's not that far, but I'm clingy. Anyways, thanks Scrub fam. Please subscribe, share this video, share it to all your fellow scrubs. Scrub fam is best fam. Okay, bye.